I'm interested in stories that are, I have I find a deeper symbolic meaning that I'm attached to, or it's some really cool visual mechanism I get to work with that just inspires me. I really have to be tapped into what is important about this film for me, regardless of what anyone else thinks, regardless if I ever tell anyone. I have to be very personally invested in this. And
what were those things?
Oddly, it was more sort of the relationship dynamics, and finding these metaphors in more sort of toxic relationships, toxic romantic relationships, and then kind of exploding those, into sort of a ridiculous, surreal space. So there's a lot of symbolism for me.
Was it kind of the pitch that they're in a toxic relationship, in that second half of the movie when she's tied up?
I didn't say that out loud in the pitch room. These are just my private sort of motivations.
Yeah.
But I think that, I just felt like I think this film needs a beautiful treatment to it visually. That is one of the things that's going to elevate it, and also allow people to step into the world afresh and not feel immediately alienated with the sort of topic at hand. Because it is really tricky, because some of the scenes, I think, if done a different way, you would have been taken out of the movie. So the whole time I was always asking myself, what serves Noah's story, what serves the relationship here, and what serves the whole film. In terms of again, just balancing the graphic nature of things, if you're going to do a movie about, cutting women's body parts up and selling them, spoiler alert, showing that I don't think is really that necessary, because if you're a woman walking around in the world, you kind of already fear that. There's always these fears in the back of your head, and so I think there's a way to tap into, shooting the very extreme close-up of Noah's eye when she's in that surgery theater. I mean, that's really all you need to show. And I think some of the best films and the best thrillers are the ones that show the least, because it just allows, it gives so much to the audience. It allows you to go into your imagination and into your own fears and tap into your own experience, instead of, shoving something down your throat, or saying, look at this, be scared of this. So I think I was always really cognizant of what the audience would be seeing and where their headspace would be at. Pawel he approaches every film from a blank slate, and that's something I really appreciated. The best thing about Pawel is he does not have social media, and so he has no clue how fucking kick-ass he is. No clue. It's kind of like an alien. You're just like, who are you? Because he's just so pure and so childlike.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Gosh, yes. And he's not jaded at all. I mean, he's just really incredible. So I can't say enough good things, but he is oh, they posted my movie on the thing, and I'm just like, oh, you're a goddamn celebrity DP. You don't even know it. So a lot of jokes around him having a big head, which he doesn't at all, just fun stuff like that. Yeah. But he's a really pure filmmaker. We did the opposite of sort of classic coverage, which is starting wide and going in, and we started very tight and came out. I mean, that location had that mirror there. We didn't put it in. And so when we were scouting, we found these angles together and just felt like, oh, this could be really interesting, and not to sit there for a long time, but just to have a little nod to like how when you're meeting someone new and what that feels like, and that you can be looking at yourself from their perspective while you're there, and just like how weird that can be.
It's also just a little off. I think maybe because I've never
Yeah.
seen shots like that.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it was a challenge to for the first 30 minutes, how are we going to allude to something that's going to happen that's ominous, but also not so much that it's going to take you out of the first 30 minutes, and take you out of the first tone.
eyes and bodies and parts, which is kind of scattered throughout.
Yeah. The one where you see Daisy in the mirror with the flowers.
Yeah.
In this scene, there's another moment where her whole like mouth is cut off. And it's every time I see it, I get a little bit of like, I feel a little nauseous inside. So if you go to the next slide, the cutting off of things was definitely intentional. Just trying to like try framing that, made you feel like it wasn't quite right, or a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit unusual. The design of all of Steve's house is all about descending. And in the score, it's the same way. So when you step into his house, then you step into the living room, and then you go down the stairs, and then you actually have to step down into the cell, and then the bed is in the floor.
Wow.
So it all was designed very intentionally, and even it goes downhill into the surgery theater. Everything is always about like going like to the depths of darkness.
Yeah, darkness. And that's the benefit of getting to design it. You can make that happen.
Exactly.
Wow.
And I got, my production designer, Jen Morden, just like took the challenge on. We knew Steve had a sort of like very specific design aesthetic, and he was very OCD. We had already decided that about his character, so we knew it wasn't going to be like dirty, and we knew it was going to be very like ordered, and he was going to like try to have, his subjects, I'll just say, be like really comfortable and happy, or what he thought was his weird version of that, because, I mean, this is all very spoiler alerty, but that just like, they have to have good mental states.